Welcome, tender-hearted romantics and guardians of whispered truths, to the place where tales don't just get narrated, they breathe. Welcome to Gossip Turkish Style. We love to imagine our favorite faces moving through a blur of sets, flights, and flashing cameras, where every day is a premiere. But after the applause fades, even the brightest names look for somewhere to unburden not only their luggage, but their hearts. Today, we turn the knob and step inside an intimate, real-world milestone for two of Turkey's most beloved, Erkan and Hazal Sabesai. Not a new series, not a red carpet reveal, this is the writing of their most important script, built brick by brick. Before we cross the threshold together, a gentle request to keep our lights shining. Tap like to honor love that lays solid groundwork, hit subscribe so you never miss our tender exclusives, and if you want to support storytelling born from feeling, you know where the join button waits. The key is poised in the lock, shall we turn it together? Fans of Erkan and Hazal Sabesai have set comment sections ablaze since rumor hardened into reality. The two have made a decisive leap and bought a home together. Yes, you heard correctly. After months of searching, of soft-spoken dreaming between takes and careful planning carved from relentless calendars, they finally found a place that felt like it chose them too. Nothing about this was impulsive. This was patient and precise, a pilgrimage through countless neighborhoods, over sun-washed hills and along time-worn streets. They walked into rooms that were almost right but not quite, houses with heavenly light but restless energy, floor plans that impressed the eye but ignored the soul. Their schedules never loosen, their lives are a rotating stage of scripts, training, rehearsals, press, and the constant hum of cameras waiting for a slip that says more than they meant. They weren't hunting for a trophy residence to appear in glossy spreads. They were searching for a sanctuary. Somewhere that calms the storm, bottles their laughter without letting it leak into public air. And at last, a door opened with the answer. The house rests in an elegant, quiet neighborhood, where leaves speak louder than traffic, and streetlights glow like lanterns rather than spotlights. Nature leans over fences and frames the horizon, so even a glance from the living room feels like looking into a living landscape. Imagine choosing your shared refuge with the person you love. What's the non-negotiable? A hidden garden? A wall of books? A kitchen made for slow dancing while dinner simmers? Put your dreams in the comments, and together let's furnish Turkish series star's ideal home. The architecture threads modern lines with a softness that doesn't show off. Spacious rooms slip into one another without hard edges, and tall panes of glass melt the border between indoor life and the green beyond. The lawn is the kind of lush that tempts you to go barefoot and stroll, as if time will only move when you do. Inside, the aesthetic is quiet luxury, purposeful simplicity woven with warmth. I speak with certainty because I had a hand in a few details of the vision that took shape. We chose muted tones that soothe the eye, tones that let a day unfold at its own pace. The lighting is warm and low without dimness, the kind that treats faces kindly and makes each corner seem ready to hold a story. We tested fabrics in afternoon sun to see how they fell, how they caught light, how they felt under fingertips when the day's done. Sofas weren't selected for applause but for welcome. Chairs weren't picked to be admired from afar but to be claimed and kept. We reached for a comfort that never needs to announce itself, a hush that gently says, "Please stay." Hazal gravitated naturally toward the poetic. That's simply how she sees. Her eye hunts for light, for textures that breathe, for quiet corners where a cup of tea feels like a ritual that heals. One afternoon she stood in the main room while soft sun pooled across the floor, and she spoke about slow mornings spent reading without checking the time, the only ticking a clock she truly listens to. She chose sheets that whisper, not rustle, and requested corners that can be filled with memories rather than clutter. She has always glowed on camera, but within the palette we composed, she seemed allowed, finally, to unclench, to be defenseless and unhurried. While Hazal nurtured the soul of the place, Erkan watched over its bones. If she talked of harmony, he spoke of shelter. He was exacting about structural calm and practical safety. Clear sightlines, sound construction, privacy systems that never suffocate. He thought about approach angles from the street, studied the ebb and flow of nearby traffic, considered who might see what, and from where. Protective, yes, but never severe, the kind of security you forget because it's so well designed. He wanted to know that if their laughter pealed too loudly, only the walls would keep the secret. That if they stayed up late talking, the night itself would tuck their words in, undisturbed. If you're enjoying walking through this home as if you've already been invited, hit like now. And remember, your subscribe keeps us near the stories that build themselves quietly, one careful choice at a time. Close friends say that when the keys pressed into their hands, the air changed. Not noisy joy, not fireworks, something that settles in shoulders and softens the gaze, a peace that makes yesterday's worries drift like light ash. Witnesses describe the moment as a silent celebration. The click of a lock becoming a line break in a life story. Their smiles were private but unmistakable. Hazal looked like someone who had found a room that truly hears her. Erkan's grin, rare, almost boyish, reserved for what matters, told the rest. The house speaks in details. The kitchen doesn't merely impress, it draws you in. A breakfast bar begging for late-night pasta and messy bowls of fruit, counters where elbows are welcome and recipes can fail without shame. The dining space is informal and close enough to the garden that a small breeze can sit at the table too. The living room invites daylight to stretch its legs and encourages nighttime to linger. There's a window nook that seems engineered for the first rain after a long summer. Shelves stand ready to hold scripts and photographs that will never go online, only held, smiled at, and put back. The bedroom was designed as an exhale. We kept the soft palette and created a bed frame that feels strong without insisting on attention. The curtains are heavy enough to hush the world's ceaseless murmur yet light enough to meet the morning and bend it kindly. A side balcony offers a slow view, perfect for coffee without words because silence already explains everything. It's a room built for rest, the kind that makes creativity feel like play again. None of this appeared overnight. They were the best kind of demanding, meticulous without meanness. Every choice sparked a conversation, a test, a moment to picture how it would feel at 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning. We walked through empty rooms moving invisible furniture just to watch how the air would travel. On other nights, plans were unrolled, measured, then shuffled again because a corridor needed a gentler angle or a corner asked for a lamp that glowed like a memory. Creative tensions? A few delicious ones. Hazal wanted a textured wall in one room, long, brush-stroked undertones that catch light and add depth without decoration. Erkan worried the late sun might glare and break their calm. So we tested. We stood through shifting daylight, reading shadows and reflections like an audition for the room itself. The texture stayed, sophisticated, quiet, distinctly theirs. Another day, he considered a hidden door along a hallway to give an office a buffer of privacy. She worried it might feel too secret. The compromise? Keep the hidden door, but open the workspace to a window framed by trees. Secrecy softened into intimacy. Everyone smiled. From inside decisions, their deeper selves surfaced. Hazal believes in moments you hold rather than post. Erkan believes in foundations that keep a roof steady when the wind grows rude. Together, their tastes don't compete, they braid. When the last plant took its place, the home didn't feel designed. It felt inevitable, as if it had been waiting with a light on. And then the ripple began online. Fans of both stars moved through disbelief, delight, and then an outpouring that wouldn't be contained. Timelines filled with edits, throwbacks, compilations of glances and gestures that followers had always read as signs. There were vows to protect their privacy and to cheer from a respectful distance. There were hopeful whispers about rings and ceremonies, dreams of wedding photos that might never be shared. No one can say what comes next, and that unknowing is part of the glow. What's undeniable is this: they're building something as deliberate as it is lovely. Those close to them insist the house is symbolic, but not loudly so. It isn't a press release, and it doesn't walk a red carpet. It's a quiet decision to reclaim life at a human volume without abandoning the work that carried them here. What's next? Perhaps that first dinner where everything burns and they end up laughing on the floor, eating takeout in a room that still echoes. Maybe a Sunday devoted to tilting a lamp until it strikes the exact, patient note of dawn. Maybe nothing but hush, two people resting while trees keep time. Whatever comes, it will be theirs. Whether a ring appears or a ceremony follows, this chapter is already a vow, to build, to tend, to be. We will keep watch from the right distance, where affection doesn't intrude. As updates arrive, you'll hear them here first, wrapped with care instead of clamor. Until then, hold on to this picture, a modern house with open arms, a garden tuned to green, and two familiar silhouettes discovering how a new space can feel like an old dream finally spoken out loud. What do you think, friends of Turkish series stars? Is this the clearest sign yet that Erkan and Hazal are written for one another? Tell me below. Don't forget to turn on notifications. This is just the prologue to a beautiful story we're honored to share, one quiet, glowing room at a time.